Welcome back everyone to the channel where we dive deep into the incredible world of rare coins and unbelievable hidden treasures that might be sitting right in your pocket change right now. And today's story is one that will keep you hooked from start to finish because we're talking about the mysterious, shocking, and insanely valuable 1966 $2 coin that collectors and experts claim could be worth a jaw-dropping $36 million due to rare errors, mistakes, and minting anomalies that transform a simple 25-cent coin into a life-changing fortune. So let's get right into the endless details, the fascinating possibilities, and the jaw-dropping reasons why this particular 1966 $2 could be worth more money than most people ever imagine. Starting first with a little bit of history about the coin itself, because 1966 fell right in the middle of one of the most turbulent and historic eras for United States coinage, the Great Silver Removal period, when the U.S. Mint officially shifted away from using 90% silver in quarters and instead started producing them from a copper-nickel clad composition. And during this chaotic time when the Mint was adjusting machinery, experimenting with new metal compositions, and rushing production to meet high demand, countless errors and weird mistakes slipped through the cracks, the kind of oddities that collectors dream of finding. And that's exactly where the legend of the multi-million-dollar 1966 $2 truly begins, because believe it or not, there are theories that a small number of these quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets from earlier years, meaning instead of being the brand new copper-nickel clad version, these mystery 1966 quarters would have the weight, sound, metallic composition, and shine of a silver coin. And if a verified silver planchet strike from 1966 exists, experts believe it could instantly be worth millions, especially if preserved in great condition. Since transitional errors like that are among the most desired categories of mint mistakes in the hobby, and let's not forget that 1966 had no mint mark because, during those transitional years, the Mint deliberately removed mint marks to discourage people from hoarding specific coins, which means that identifying the origin and quality of every single 1966 $2 becomes even more challenging and fascinating, opening the door for mysteries, speculation, and theories about super rare mistrikes that have yet to surface in auctions. And while the major dream find might be a silver planchet transitional error, we also must explore all the other wild and valuable mistakes associated with this year, including double die obverse coins where the lettering and design appear doubled under magnification, a kind of error that collectors adore because it creates visual uniqueness that no other quarter can replicate. And when you think about doubling on key areas like the word liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," or the date 1966 itself, you can imagine how dramatic and desirable that effect would be, especially if the doubling is strong and easily visible without heavy magnification, because the more visible the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. And that's only the beginning, because some 1966 quarters have reportedly shown die cracks and retained cut errors where pieces of the die break off, causing raised, odd lumps of metal on the coin's surface, and each one of those errors is a one-of-a-kind creation that can raise the coin's value depending on size, placement, and dramatic appearance. And then we have off-center strikes, which occur when the blank coin isn't perfectly centered under the die during the strike, resulting in a $2 that looks like part of its design is literally missing. And if that off-center strike is significant while still showing the entire date, that alone could multiply the value by thousands. But imagine combining multiple errors in a single 1966 $2, like a dramatic off-center strike on a silver planchet with doubling on the obverse letterings. That level of minting chaos would send collectors into a frenzy and could justify enormous auction numbers far beyond what most people expect. And that's exactly where rumors about the $36 million claim come from, because while most valuable coins have one major mint error, this hypothetical holy grail piece could include a perfect storm of mistakes, making it a unique treasure unlike anything else documented. And the possibilities don't end there, because some collectors have also reported coins with missing clad layers where the top nickel layer peeled off, leaving an exposed copper core, giving the coin a striking reddish-brown appearance instead of the normal silvery tone, which could fetch huge money if authenticated and in great condition. And speaking of condition, that is another make or break factor here, because even if a coin has a super rare error, if it's scratched, worn out, bent, cleaned improperly, or damaged, the value could drop dramatically, while a pristine, untouched example with sharp details could see a price explosion. And that's why collectors constantly preach proper handling, storing coins safely in protective holders, and avoiding any attempts to clean them, since cleaning destroys originality and instantly lowers value. So if someone has a stunning 1966 quarter in near perfect grade with sharp luster and full details, whether or not errors exist, it still becomes more desirable, and some extremely high-grade clad quarters can sell for thousands solely based on condition. And when you combine that with a major mint error, the sky is truly the limit. And now let's talk about another potential factor that could create a multi-million-dollar phenomenon, which involves pattern strikes or test coins produced by the mint during transitional years, sometimes struck using experimental methods or different metals. And if any 1966 quarter testing combinations survived the mint's destruction guidelines, they would be unbelievably rare, as experimental pieces are usually classified as patterns and can sometimes be worth astronomical amounts in the coin market, especially for transitional years like this. And then we must consider the role of provenance and storytelling, because even though collectors rely heavily on authentication and physical attributes, the most legendary coins often gain value from the myths and stories that surround them, the kind of folklore that fuels competition among the world's wealthiest and most dedicated collectors. And with the 1966 quarter already wrapped inside an era filled with secrecy, production changes, and minting pressure, it's no surprise that the possibility of one coin representing the perfect blend of condition, mystery, era rarity, and historical significance could send bidders into a historic showdown at auction. And when you combine that with the fact that extremely wealthy coin collectors love the exclusivity and bragging rights of owning an object that literally nobody else on earth possesses, the price can skyrocket beyond any rational expectation, and suddenly a quarter originally meant to buy gum or pay a parking meter becomes a symbol of prestige, investment, and passion, leading to ridiculous values like the $36 million number tied to this coin's urban legend. And what makes all of this even more exciting is the idea that such a treasure might still be sitting unnoticed today in an old coin jar, a forgotten collection from someone's grandparents, tucked away in a dusty drawer, or accidentally mixed in with everyday loose change, because millions of these coins were released into circulation back in 1966, and over the decades, countless coin rolls and machines handled them, allowing rare error examples to slip by undetected, meaning an average person, with enough curiosity and patience, could theoretically stumble upon a multi-million-dollar prize during an ordinary day, simply by paying closer attention to a coin that most people overlook without a second thought. And that thrill of possibility keeps the coin collecting community buzzing with constant excitement, fueling searches, roll hunts, and late-night research sessions as treasure hunters try to locate that elusive masterpiece. And while many 1966 quarters may only hold sentimental or face value, each one holds a spark of hope, because until someone examines it carefully, you never truly know what secrets it might be hiding. And that uncertainty, that mystery, and that tantalizing chance are what make this hobby so addictive and thrilling for collectors worldwide. So the big message here is to never underestimate the coins in your possession, because mistakes happen at the mint all the time. And the 1966 quarter exists right at the heart of one of the most chaotic moments in U.S. coin minting history. Next, 1982 quarter dollar. Today we're going to talk about an incredible coin that you could easily overlook in your pocket change but might secretly be worth a jaw-dropping fortune. So get ready, because we are about to explore the fascinating world of the 1982 quarter dollar coin that has gained legendary status among collectors and treasure hunters because of the rumors, rare errors, minting mistakes, and mystery surrounding certain specimens that are believed to be worth as much as $23 million. Yes, you heard that right, A simple 25-cent coin from 1982 with a Philadelphia mint mark that could turn an ordinary person into a multi-millionaire literally overnight. And this type of story is exactly what keeps coin collectors excited and searching through spare change day after day, hoping that one day their lucky find will change their lives forever. So stick around, because we are going to talk deeply about every aspect of this incredible coin, including the minting history, the special features that separate it from regular quarters, the extremely rare errors that create this unbelievable value, the reasons why experts believe these specific mistakes could push the price into the millions, and of course the thrilling possibilities that make the 1982 P quarter one of the most talked about and most hunted rare coins in the entire numismatic world. And it all starts with the tumultuous year of 1982 in the United States Mint, when several major changes were taking place, including metal composition adjustments for coins like pennies. But even though the quarter itself maintained its usual clad copper-nickel composition, the rush and pressure within the minting facilities caused a number of overlooked problems, minting anomalies, and die issues that were never meant to leave the mint yet somehow managed to sneak into circulation and now exist as unbelievable treasures waiting to be discovered. And one of the most important things to understand about the Philadelphia Mint in 1982 is that for some reason the mint mark P was used on quarters during that period, which was unusual in earlier years where many Philadelphia coins were left without any mint mark at all. So the presence of the letter P itself became notable, and this tiny mint mark gives collectors a vital clue when researching these rare specimens. But the true excitement lies in the hidden and bizarre minting mistakes that turned ordinary coins into potential multi-million-dollar marvels. And the most famous of all the 1982 P quarter errors is the double die variety, where crucial parts of the design appear doubled, including the lettering, the date, the motto, "In God We Trust," and even details in George Washington's profile like his eye, nose, and hairline, which create a dramatic visual difference detectable even without magnification if you are lucky enough to hold one of these extraordinary coins in your hand. But not every double die is the same, and some have far more dramatic doubling than others, and those extreme double die examples are the ones collectors believe could reach astronomical values, such as the rumored $23 million price tag, because the rarity is so extreme that only a handful, perhaps even just one or two, may exist in high-grade near-perfect condition, making them more desirable than even the rarest historical treasures. And speaking of condition, mint state perfection is absolutely everything in the world of coin collecting, because a coin that has survived decades without scratches, dents, nicks, discoloration, or circulation wear automatically skyrockets in pricing potential. And when you combine perfect condition with rare mint errors and a historically interesting year like 1982, you get the recipe for a coin so unique that collectors, investors, and museums are all willing to battle fiercely with huge financial offers to obtain it. And we cannot forget the role of missing design elements, because another incredible error linked to the 1982 P quarter involves weakly struck or completely missing parts of the reverse design, like sections of the eagle's wings, tail feathers, arrows, or wreaths, which occurred when aging dies were overused beyond recommended limits and the mint workers either overlooked or delayed replacing them, since the mint was trying to cut costs and meet enormous coinage demand, resulting in faint or absent design features that now serve as unmistakable markers of rarity and value. And collectors absolutely love these types of errors because they prove authenticity and make the coin stand out from the billions of standard quarters produced that year. And then there are the planchet errors, one of the most exciting and intriguing categories, because a planchet error can completely alter the appearance and weight of a coin. And some 1982 P quarters were accidentally struck on wrong planchets, such as outdated silver-clad planchets or foreign coin blanks that were mistakenly left inside minting machinery from prior production cycles. And when a quarter is made from the wrong metal, everything from weight to sound to color becomes different, as the coin does not behave like a normal modern quarter. And if one of these rare composition error coins turns up, the value is instantly boosted into the hundreds of thousands or even millions, depending on condition and rarity. And that leads us to the rumors that one or two specific 1982 P quarters were struck on a silver-based planchet that should have been removed long before normal production began, meaning that the coin would not only contain silver but hold a shocking historical anomaly that could make it invaluable, since no silver quarters were supposed to exist in 1982. And that possibility alone adds a layer of mystery and excitement that fuels collector curiosity and skyrockets estimated value into the multi-million-dollar range. And another bizarre mistake that fascinates experts is the off-center strike error, where the design is shifted dramatically to one side, leaving part of the coin blank or distorted, and if the date 1982 and mint mark P remain visible while the rest of the design shifts, this creates a very special and valuable coin that collectors crave intensely and could pay thousands or more to obtain in any grade above average. And there are also broad strike errors, where the collar that holds the coin in place during striking fails to function properly, causing the entire coin to stretch outward, resulting in a uniquely larger and flatter design. And again, when this error occurs on a coin with other combined issues like doubling or missing elements, the rarity compounds and increases value massively. And let's not forget about die cracks and die breaks, because some 1982 P quarters have visible raised lines or even dramatic chunks of metal where the die actually fractured while striking coins. And these types of major die break errors, known as CUDs, are extremely collectible, especially on quarters from the early 1980s, where production quality control was inconsistent due to high-pressure demands on the mint for large-scale output, and these unusual raised metal features give the coin a unique personality and prove that it was minted during a moment of machinery failure, which makes it a one-of-a-kind treasure to collectors who value historical flaws over perfection. And what is truly fascinating is that many of these 1982 P quarter errors were never documented officially by the mint, meaning they slipped into circulation quietly and now remain hidden in drawers, coin jars, and piggy banks around the world, waiting for the lucky individual who finally discovers them. And the idea that such a rare coin could be resting unnoticed in a random pile of change keeps collectors motivated and searching day and night, because with the rumored extreme valuations, people know that this is no ordinary treasure hunt but rather a realistic chance for a life-changing financial miracle. And the more stories that surface about incredibly valuable era coins being found in the most unexpected places, the more excitement builds around the possibility that someone someday will stumble upon this legendary 1982 P quarter valued at $23 million and shock the entire numismatic community. And imagine that moment when a simple quarter you nearly fed into a vending machine turns out to be one of the rarest coins in American history. Imagine the surge of emotion, disbelief, adrenaline, and overwhelming joy. Imagine showing experts who confirm that you have one of the greatest coin discoveries of the century. Next, 1984 P quarter dollar. Today we are going to take you deep into the world of minting anomalies, overlooked details, hidden features, and mysterious production issues that can transform a simple quarter into a life-changing fortune. So sit tight, because this single coin from 1984, minted at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, has captured the imagination of collectors globally, especially when discovering how certain production flaws can massively boost its market value beyond anything most people could ever imagine. And understanding why these errors occurred is key to unlocking the full potential of a rare 1984 P Washington quarter. So let's journey into the past, where the United States Mint was transitioning through several production adjustments and quality control wasn't always perfect, which opened the door for some coins to slip out with serious blunders that later turned into prized collector items. And when we look closely at the 1984 P quarter, we discover incredible kinds of errors, like double die obverse issues, where the design elements on Washington's profile and inscriptions appear doubled due to die misalignment during striking, which collectors go crazy for, because visible doubling, especially on words like liberty, the date 1984, and the motto "In God We Trust," can skyrocket the coin's value far beyond face value. But this is just the beginning, because another major error that makes some 1984 P quarters so expensive is the dramatic die cracks that form raised Lines across the coin's surface caused by worn or damaged dies during production, and these cracks can appear anywhere including from Washington's head to the rim or near the eagle on the reverse, and the more dramatic and eye-catching the crack is, the more desirable the coin becomes to collectors hunting for uniqueness. And speaking of dramatic errors, off-center strikes are another common yet highly valuable mistake where the coin design is shifted and not centered properly on the blank planchet, meaning part of the design is cut off and the spacing around the edge is uneven, and the value of these off-center coins increases significantly the further the strike drifts away, with extreme examples being worth thousands or millions depending on condition, rarity, and visibility of the date. And collectors always demand that the date remains present for the highest possible valuation because it proves the year of the error, which is crucial in this industry. But perhaps one of the most extraordinary and exciting errors for the 1984 P quarter is when a completely wrong planchet was used to strike the coin, such as a copper penny planchet or nickel planchet meant for other denominations, which results in incorrect metal composition and thickness, creating a shocking discovery that looks different, feels lighter, or heavier than normal quarters. And tests reveal unexpected metallic content that drastically increases its collectible value, instantly turning it into a superstar coin. And this kind of planchet error is incredibly sought after because it proves something major went wrong in the minting process, making the coin extremely rare since only a few could ever exist. And then there are clipped planchet errors where small or large chunks appear missing from the coin's edge because the blank was punched incorrectly before striking, and these visible missing pieces create an odd but intriguing shape that coin lovers find irresistible, especially when combined with other errors on the same coin, which can make it worth even more. And striking errors such as broad-struck coins that appear larger or lack a defined rim due to improper placement in the collar during minting add another layer of rarity that pushes its desirability up the ladder. And then we explore die break cut errors where a section of the die actually breaks away entirely, causing a blob-like raised imperfection on the coin's rim that collectors find extremely valuable because these cuts are visually striking and rare. And what makes the 1984 P quarter especially attractive is the combination potential, where some coins may feature multiple errors like doubling plus off-center strikes or die cracks plus clipped planchets, creating unique one-of-a-kind treasures that no other collector can own, which means the bidding war possibilities go through the roof. And let's not forget the importance of high-grade condition coins preserved in almost flawless shape, because the cleaner and sharper the coin appears with minimal scratches, no major wear, and strong luster, the more professional graders boost its status, especially when combined with error rarity, making the value multiply beyond belief. So even though millions of 1984 quarters were produced, only a tiny number survive in uncirculated or mint state grades, especially with error features, making them some of the rarest and most desirable hidden gems in the entire Washington quarter series, and collectors always pay top dollar for historical appeal and uniqueness, since each mistake tells a story of how the mint struggled during that time frame, dealing with aging tools, high production speeds, and inconsistent quality checks, and all these factors combine to create a collector's dream coin that lies undetected in spare change, old drawers, inherited collections, unsearched bank rolls, and even forgotten coin jars sitting around in homes today, meaning ordinary people could unknowingly possess a coin worth up to $17 million without realizing its value. And that thrilling possibility fuels the hunt and keeps collectors checking every little detail on their coins, including weight variations, thickness measurements, edge reading inconsistencies, and even tiny die chips that form miniature bumps on the coin surface, especially around the letters and eagle feathers, which can add desirability based on how noticeable and unique that chip is. And enthusiasts constantly share discoveries online showing examples of minting anomalies that appear tiny but still add premiums, because every imperfection contributes to rarity, and the rarity is the biggest factor in determining value. And the 1984 P quarter stands as a shining example of how everyday money can become a multi-million-dollar collectible thanks to quirky production circumstances from decades ago. And when grading services such as PCGS or NGC confirm the authenticity of errors and assign a high mint state grade like MS66 or MS67, the value climbs into unimaginable territory because certified coins become protected, verified, and recognized globally, making them easier to sell in high-profile auctions where wealthy bidders compete for the honor of owning such an iconic numismatic marvel, and auction results for other rare error quarters prove how wildly valuable they can become, so experts believe that the most perfect, unique, and dramatic error example from 1984 P quarter production could draw insane bidding wars reaching that incredible multi-million-dollar mark, especially as interest in coin collecting continues to rise worldwide, with people fascinated by the idea that fortune can literally be found in spare change. And the fun part is that the coin's history tracks back to the enduring Washington quarter design, which honors the nation's first president and has been part of American life for generations, meaning this coin carries patriotic pride along with financial excitement, and the blend of heritage and rarity drives collectors' emotions, making them willing to pay astonishing premiums for the right coin. And because most 1984 quarters were spent heavily in circulation, many show big signs of wear, so finding an example with crisp details, full ridges on the edge, shining mint luster, and visible errors is like striking gold, and that treasure hunt motivates thousands of collectors to flip coins every day in hopes of finding a small mistake with a gigantic value. And while it may sound unbelievable, the marketplace has repeatedly shown that extraordinary error coins can reach breathtaking prices, especially when only a few exist or even just one, which means the world's most exceptional 1984 P quarter might be truly one of a kind, and that level of exclusivity could easily command an estimated $17 million someday, making headlines and proving what we always say on this channel, that small coins can hide massive fortunes. Last, today we dive into one of the most surprising and jaw-dropping stories in modern numismatics, a story that might have you checking every single quarter you come across, because the 1988 D quarter dollar, an everyday coin that millions of people have held in their hands without noticing anything special, has been known to reach an unbelievable value of up to $8 million due to extremely rare and valuable mint errors and mistakes that only a tiny number of lucky collectors have discovered. And throughout this video we will explore why this ordinary coin became a hidden treasure, what types of errors make it so desirable, and how coin collectors and experts evaluate these pieces to determine their worth. So stay with us right to the end, because you never know, a fortune might be sitting right inside your wallet or tucked away in an old jar of loose change, as we journey into the incredible world of the 1988 D quarter dollar, a coin struck at the Denver Mint during a year when the United States Mint faced a variety of striking challenges and unexpected issues that led to some coins being produced with the kind of mistakes that collectors dream about, mistakes so subtle and yet so significant that they can transform a simple 25-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar rarity. And when we explore the history of the 1988 D quarter, it is important to remember that this coin is part of the Washington quarter series, which since 1932 has featured the bust of George Washington on the obverse and the eagle design on the reverse, but errors in 1988 created a number of unique variations in the design details, alignment, metal composition, and strike quality that separate the valuable pieces from the ordinary ones. And one of the reasons this coin can reach astronomical value is because some examples were struck using worn or mismatched dies, creating a distinctive doubling effect where certain inscriptions like the date, the mint mark D, the words Liberty, or even the motto "In God We Trust" appear doubled, distorted, or offset, a feature known as a double die error that collectors pay huge sums to acquire, especially when the mistake is crisp and easy to detect under magnification. And these double die errors can happen on either the obverse or the reverse or both, making some coins twice as rare and exponentially more valuable. But double dies are only the beginning of the long list of highly desirable mint blunders from 1988, because that year also saw the creation of off-center strikes where the coin was not aligned properly inside the press during minting, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing or cropped to one side while the blank planchet edge is visible. And the more dramatic the off-center shift, the more valuable the coin becomes. with some collectors paying millions for perfectly preserved extremes of misalignment, especially those where major details like Washington's face or the eagle's wings remain present, but shifted so strangely that the coin becomes a truly one-of-a-kind visual oddity. And you might think that off-center strikes are always easy to spot, but there are some that are extremely slight yet noticeable enough to qualify as errors, meaning that even subtle misalignments from 1988 are worth checking carefully because they can still bring thousands or even millions depending on rarity. And while off-center strikes are dramatic errors that grab attention immediately, the 1988 D quarter also features a series of die cracks, cuts, and breaks where the metal of the die itself became damaged during the minting process, leading to raised, irregular lines or blobs of metal on the surface of the coin that were never meant to be there. And in some extremely desirable cases, these die cracks form unique shapes such as lines running across Washington's portrait, cracks connecting letters to the rim, or extra metal appearing near the eagle's beak or claws, which collectors love because they make the coin stand apart from normal examples. And sometimes these errors are found in only a few known specimens, making their rarity skyrocket. But what really pushes certain 1988 D quarters into the multi-million-dollar realm are the spectacular error types like transitional planchet errors, where the coin was accidentally struck on metal intended for a different denomination entirely, such as copper-nickel dimes or even silver alloy planchets that were mistakenly fed into the press. And if a 1988 D quarter is found on a planchet lighter or heavier than the standard 5.67 grams, it could be a groundbreaking discovery, since metal composition mistakes were already becoming extremely uncommon by the late 1980s, and such an error could instantly skyrocket in value due to its near impossibility. And collectors are always weighing their coins to ensure they are within mint tolerance, because even tiny variations can signal something extraordinary beneath the surface. And as we continue exploring the mysteries of this valuable coin, we must discuss the infamous no mint mark confusion, which, although rare for Denver production, sometimes includes coins where the D mint mark is so weak, misplaced, or faded that collectors believed it to be missing, causing excitement and prompting deeper investigation under magnifiers and microscopes. And when such unusual mint mark anomalies combine with other errors like doubling, off-center strikes, or die breaks, the price multiplies dramatically. And another category that has become incredibly sought after involves reeded edge errors. Those ridges along the edge of the quarter sometimes appear partially missing or even completely smooth due to collet failures during striking. And these edge mistakes add yet another layer of desirability, because the U.S. Mint intends edges to be consistent as a security measure, meaning deviations are seen as special and extremely collectible. And let's not forget about partial collar strikes, where the coin is not fully seated inside its restraining collar, leading to a warped, beveled, or uneven edge, which makes the coin look like it has expanded or stretched in one direction, a mistake that visually proves production went wrong and again increases the coin's rarity and market value. And while all of these errors contribute individually to the impressive value of some 1988 D quarters, what creates the absolute top-tier multi-million-dollar coins is the perfect storm of multiple rare errors, all existing on the same coin in high-grade condition, meaning it must also be free from major scratches, heavy wear, or discoloration, because collectors will pay the most for examples that are not only rare from a minting standpoint but also extremely well preserved, almost as if they were saved from circulation moments after being struck. And when certified by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, coins achieving the highest mint state grades such as MS 67 or MS 68 become even more extraordinary. And if they also include dramatic errors like a bold double die or extreme off-center strike, they immediately enter the multi-million-dollar category, since only one or two examples may exist in such elite condition, creating a bidding war among passionate collectors and wealthy investors hoping to secure the crown jewel of an error coin collection. And think about the excitement, the possibility that you could stumble across one of these incredible 1988 D Quarters, not knowing that your spare change contains something that could change your life forever, as overnight you would go from holding a simple quarter to holding one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered. And part of the reason these coins command such huge prices is that collectors love finding hidden history in an object so small and ordinary, where a tiny detail that most people would overlook becomes the very thing that makes the artifact one of the rarest and most significant in existence. And with each passing year, more collectors search tirelessly through rolls, banks, estate collections, and garage sales, hoping to be the next person to find one of these legendary multimillion-dollar errors, and stories circulate across the community of people who unknowingly spent or gave away rare coins before learning about their value, reinforcing how important it is to examine all coins carefully and never assume that anything common cannot be precious. And as the popularity of coin collecting continues to grow globally, the demand for rare error coins like the 1988 D quarter also grows, sending auction prices to higher levels every time a record-setting coin appears, because scarcity combined with excitement drives collectors into fierce competition, especially when they know that the chance to own such a piece may come only once in a lifetime.